see.
Where'd you get yours?
Oh, this is actually a Christmas gift.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cool. My daughter's quote unquote friend.
All right. I'm already waiting on
Damn.
Got me a
So you're sweating them now?
Whatever. Yo, but like I was saying,
Yeah.
on that particular podcast that we did,
yeah,
there was so much information because I've been through a lot, right?
Yeah.
In my time coming up from when I was young all the way up to that point. Now even more so that here we are, some years later. I was able to talk about so much that I have inside or so much that I've been through, and that was the one time I was able to speak on it, and you lost it.
I just had one job. I literally had one job, and my hard drive failed. So I was like, damn it, man.
No, it's all good. I mean, but it was that one time where I was able to speak on a whole lot.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times there's a lot of DJs who are either really quiet. They don't speak on so much. They just they do what they do. Then there's other DJs that speak and are really loud about and vocal about a lot of things other than what's really going on internally.
Yeah.
Or what they really feel about certain things. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And that's why I was able to talk about those things in between.
Yeah.
And that was that one time.
Yeah.
And it was what like you said, 3 hours long, whatever.
Yeah. And for me, and I was like, dude, I gotta get him back on there because like all the stuff that we heard on there was like, it's just mind blowing. Because like a lot of stuff that you called out in 2017, you accomplished that like within either 6 months or a year, and I lost it, man. But nonetheless, I wanted to bring you back here and just kind of revisit that and kind of expand and highlight 3 hours into like 1 hour.
Yeah.
And then if we have to do part 2, we'll definitely do part 2 and go from there.
And I'm always down to come back, so it's whatever.
For sure. But nonetheless, let's officially kick things off. Doing it for the culture, Southern Vibes. It's your host, DJ Krooks. And I got the man, the myth, the legend, DJ Main Event. What's up, man?
What up, what up?
Man, it's good to have you back here.
Man.
I know earlier we were talking about how I made a bonehead mistake and my hard drive crashed. This is a PSA to all the DJs out there. Back up your hard drives.
Man, gotta do it. Gotta do it. That's one of the worst things and worst feelings is to lose it all.
Yeah.
It's almost like losing your wallet for your money, your ID, your credit cards. It's all gone.
Your edits.
That feeling is the same feeling when you lose your laptop or your hard drive crashes on you. It's what do you do next, right? It's like
start over.
Oh my God.
You just
now
like,
what? That's what it's like. Now what?
For sure.
So,
but nonetheless, man, how have you been?
Man, good. You know, just busy. And busy is good.
I see you working, man.
Busy is good. Just moving around, man. Taking care of business. Doing what I do and paying the bills and taking care of the fam.
Yeah, and I think we got some congratulations in order because you recently bought a new house, right?
Yeah.
Man, shout out to that. That's awesome, man.
My second house.
Damn, that's awesome.
House number 2.
For me, I can only count like on one hand of the amount of DJs who could make a living off this and do it full time and have like a really badass house. So congratulations on that. That's awesome.
Thank you. It's definitely it was a goal of mine and I achieved it, and I knocked that one out, and there's a few more that I got to knock out. So it ain't no stopping anytime soon.
Can't stop, won't stop.
No,
for sure. But since we're talking about goals and ambition and things, like what really motivates you to DJ as a full-time DJ nowadays?
What motivates me nowadays?
Yeah.
I still have the same drive that I had when I first started. You know, the passion and the love is still there. That hasn't changed. But what motivates me even more now is that I've been in it so long. I'm beyond waist deep. And now I got children. I'm a lot older and mature, wiser now. I have a family. And there's no turning back. Now I have to do it ultimately for them. You know what I mean? And,
Nathan, you're fired. It's all good.
Yeah, ultimately I have to do it for them. So it's not even about, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go with it. And all those things are still there. But over the years, I've achieved so many of the goals that I've had, and I've wrote down, or either I had them on a vision board. I've knocked them all out, and there's still a lot to go. But now that I have children, they're on my vision board as well. They're like on the top of the list, priority. As long as the lights are on, there's food on the table, and I'm taking care of them. There's clothes on their back. That drives me even more.
Yeah.
So that just lights the fire under my ass even more. You know what I'm saying? That motherfucker's hot. So there ain't no turning back. It's like, what do you do? What do you do if you stop? When you've been in it that long and you're in it so deep, what do you do? Like you said, if your hard drive crashes, it's like, now what?
Yeah.
What if you do if it's taken away from you? What if you do if you just wake up saying, well, I just want to quit. I don't want to do this no more. Then what? Where are you going to work?
Work at Target?
Yeah, Walmart. You going to go back to trapping?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? And so they drive me, and that's what drives me even more today, to answer your question.
Yeah,
So
I was just about to ask you that, because I feel like there's all these celebrities or great figures in history, and you can see they accomplish so much in like their early years, like in their 20s, and then they have kids, and it's like 5x, 10x. Their goals start getting bigger, and they have like an even bigger drive. So
you got to.
That's awesome. But
you know why? I don't want to cut you off. I don't mean to
it.
be Kanye West right now, but you have to, because it's not about just you anymore.
Yeah.
It's not just that one thing anymore. Oh, I want to do this for me, or oh, I have all the. You got to think about them now.
For sure.
So now you got to up the ante on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It kind of reminds me of that saying that the Dame Dash always says, "I hustle for my last name, not my first name." And I think that really resonates with the conversation that we're having right now.
Yeah, man, because at the end of the day, once you've done everything that you could have done while you had your time, when you're gone, now you have a legacy. You left something behind.
Yeah.
Not just for where you're from, your city, or all the things you accomplished, but even for your family.
Yeah. And then those around you too. And I feel like you yourself, like you've always been an inspiration to me, and I'm sure like other DJs, just because like you actually sat down and taught us stuff. Like we like checked you out, like DJing. Like when I go see you still, like to these days, like I'm just like mind blown. And it's like, I guess like once you're a DJ, you kind of build a tolerance to seeing shit. Like you're like, all right, cool, that's cool. But like still to this day, I feel like you've left behind such a big legacy, and I just want to congratulate you for that and say thank you, because being an instructor and break free, back in the day, I'm sure you taught a lot of people, and I think a lot of people look up to you. So
Man.
I think you did the job, man. I know there's a lot more, but I honestly just want to say thank you so much of what you've done so far, and give you your flowers while you're here, because you're killing it, man.
Man, thank you. Thank you for appreciating that and even seeing it in that way or in that light, because that's another thing, where certain people don't speak on things like that. And I'm not here to ask for that. I'm not here looking for the flowers. I'm here doing it because that's just what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's a part of who I am as a DJ. You know, if I can give back and contribute, to the next generation, the youth, or to somebody who's willing to listen and learn, I'm gonna do that, because you know what? I remember when I wanted it, and when I was like seeking and looking and trying to figure that, there was no one teaching me. We didn't even have YouTube back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So I had to figure this out on my own, and it was the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
So coming from that, I can remember what it felt like. So how would it be if somebody came, for you, for instance, or just anybody asked me, for some advice, and I just brushed them off, like, no, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I wish I had somebody there, to kind of guide me, teach me, and answer questions I had, and there wasn't anybody. So that would make me feel good, because I know that feeling.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna teach. Yeah, if somebody says, "Hey, can you help us?" Of course.
Yeah.
If there's anything I can do, to help you out in any way, I'm gonna do it, and I'm not asking for anything in return. I mean, that makes me feel good. So thank you for that, because
for sure.
that's just something I don't mind doing.
Yeah, because just letting you know, man, there's a lot of people that are looking at you and just like, yo, that man, he killed it, and I can't wait till I get older and be like, yo, man, this dude Bane Event, man, really inspired me, and I'm sure you inspired a bunch of other DJs out there that are out there right now killing it as well, and that's gonna be a part of history forever. So that's why I want to sit down with you, document it, and just tell you how awesome you are.
Man.
But since we're talking about,
Thanks.
seeking knowledge in particular DJing, what are some things that you wish you knew when you first started out?
Man, some of the things I when I first started, was pretty much what in the hell is the guy doing behind the turntables in the first place. I remember when I first saw a DJ, I was like, what is his purpose? He's doing nothing. He's playing a song, right?
Yeah.
That was just in my mind. He's playing a couple of records while the artist on the stage is doing all the work. The artist is who should be getting all the shine. Why is that guy back there? You know, that's the first thing I thought, and I just by seeing that, I just wanted to know, what is he really doing? Why is he up there?
Why is he important?
Yeah. So that was the first thing for me.
Yeah.
And from there it kind of went on. You know, after that, after finding out what the DJ's purpose really was, I understood. Okay, now I understand why he's important. But now, how is he doing that?
Yeah.
That was the next thing, and then everything else came after that. Okay, now he's doing this thing. Now he's making noise. What? That sounds cool. How is he doing that? And everything else after that. And then you start to find out what his name is. Oh, now there's another DJ, and you find out what his name is and how dope he is. And then the next one, and the next one. And now you just want to do everything they're doing, period. So I think the first thing for me was just trying to figure out why he was important.
Yeah. So around what age were you, around what age did you begin to get curious about the DJ?
I want to say 11. 11 years old. And that was only because my neighbor across the street was the DJ.
Really?
And I used to play kickball with his brother. I think I told you this on the first podcast. Yeah. And he used to play kickball with his brother outside of the house. And there was always loud music playing coming from inside of his house. And I asked his brother one day, his name was Rodney. That was the kid I used to play kickball with. I used to ask him, man, why is there always music coming from your house? He's like, oh, that's my brother Richard. He's practicing. Practicing what? He's a DJ. It's nothing. Come on, man, throw the ball. I'm like, what? He's a DJ. So I remember I went around the house and the window was open. I looked in and I just saw him it wasn't the type of DJing we do today, but it was still on two turntables and he had records and he was playing music.
Yeah.
That right there, was intriguing enough. I was like, I seen it on TV. Now I'm seeing this for real. Like somebody's doing this.
Yeah, somebody
live.
you know is actually interacting.
And it's across the street.
Yeah.
I want to go in that bedroom and see what he's doing. And that's how it started. I was 11 years old.
So how did you sucker your friend into letting you in his house to check everything out?
So we snuck in, right? He's like, you really want to see? Let's go inside real quick. So he tells me, let's go inside. I said, all right. So we go and we walk down the hallway and he cracks the door open and his brother Richard's like practicing and he has it cracked open like this much and we're like peeking in there. And he's just in it, doing his thing. He's not cutting or scratching, but he's mixing it up, doing what he does. And then he sees us looking, and he says, hey, what are you doing? And Rodney slams the door, and we book it. You know what I'm saying? We just take off, right? And the next time, I don't know, a couple of days later, maybe a week, we're playing kickball again. And then we sneak in again, and we try to look. And this time he says, hey, what are you doing? And we run again, and he comes out the room and goes, hey, stop. So we stop, and he goes, come here. And he calls us both over there. He's a lot older than us. He's probably like, I was 11. He was probably 14.
Yeah.
And we walk back over there, and my buddy Rodney's like, hey, we were just looking. Sorry. He wanted to see. He's like, why are you looking? And I was like, I just think it's cool. He goes, you like that? I said, yeah, man. He said, come in here. Sit down. And I went in there, and I sat down. And he goes, don't touch nothing. And I said, all right. And then he started DJing. And I was 11 years old. And I was just like, what that's so cool. And he wasn't playing hip hop or anything. He was playing he was playing industrial music, like 80s industrial music. He was playing like Microchip League and CCCP. He was playing like Skinny Puppies, Netzer Ebb. He was... I think that's right. Anyway, he was playing a bunch of bands and groups I've never heard of, his music I've never even heard. So whoever's watching this, y'all go do y'all's research on some of those artists.
Google that shit.
Some of those artists I just dropped,
Yeah.
And I'm 11 years old and this dude is just killing it. Now killing it back then, he's just mixing from one song to the next. And he's not even mixing. He's just switching the song over. But back then, that was okay to do. There was no BPM matching, beat matching, no blending, no nothing. As soon as the song was over, he just crossed over to the next song. And that was you were dope if you did that.
Yeah, as simple as that.
You know what I'm saying? This was the 80s. I think this is like I don't know, 86, 7, 8, something like that. I don't know. And he was the man. So, I mean, of course, DJing's evolved, but that's what started. I was 11 years old. And from that point on, he was like, you want to learn this? And I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, all right, well, I'm going to a party this weekend. If you can get away and come out, you can come with me, but you have to carry my crates. And I think every DJ first started off in the game carrying crates.
Traditional. Just
If you were a real DJ, that's what you were doing at first. And coming from my era anyway, because there's not too many people carrying crates these days unless you're still a true vinyl, DJ.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, no knock on anybody who's coming up in this generation, but man, that's just the way it was back there. Back then, if you were about it, you were carrying crates, and the DJ who was put on or who was the man of his city or neighborhood at that time ended up putting you on because you were carrying those crates over time. And so that's just how it started. You know what I'm saying?
For
11
sure.
years old, though. Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing that every guest has the privilege of on the radio station here / mix show is they get a beverage writer. Now, of course, you picked some tea, which is kind of out of the ordinary. Usually,
tea? This is a JMO right here.
it's a JMO.
Yeah, baby.
It's kind of light for that. It's a diet.
I died JMO. Nah. Yeah, no, you're right.
But yeah, usually people request like Jameson, Espolòn, Hennessy, but you're just like, man, I want some sweet tea, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard about this one right here.
Yeah, that one's pretty smooth.
I heard that Espolòn, right?
Yeah, that's the Espolòn right
I
there.
heard that's some good stuff. I don't know. But no, yeah, requested the tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Straight up.
This episode is not sponsored by Gold Peak,
No, but I'm going
but
to tell you.
shout out to Gold Peak.
If you're done with sugar, you're not really like eating like sweets and sugar and stuff. This diet tea really tastes like it has sugar in it,
Really?
and that's why I like it. I'm from the South and I grew up on tea. It's really good. I mean, I like it.
Holy shit, this is a diet?
Yeah, right. See what I'm saying? Yo, Gold Peak, you're gonna have to hook us up, man.
Yo, send us a care package
You know what I'm saying?
for like a
You
Price
guys
is
be
Right
making
bitch.
a whole lot of money on me. I'm gonna tell you right now, y'all made a lot of money on me.
Just got that official DJ ME endorsement.
Yeah, no. So that's why I requested it. I don't drink anymore.
Nice, congrats.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's almost 20 years in the game and drinking almost every night of your life, dude. You definitely like the consumption of that is I mean, you're killing yourself. All that.
Yeah,
It's like you said earlier, it's poison.
yeah.
Yeah. And I started to feel that, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I mean, that's a whole nother story, but yeah, man, I do not miss waking up in the morning feeling like shit.
Yeah,
I do not miss it.
I feel that.
And,
Just because after a night of going out,
man,
and you want to go to
God.
like network or something, and next thing you know, you're
Oh man.
drinking all night, and you wake up and you had all these plans in the morning, and
I mean,
Nah.
it's bad enough that I don't get any sleep now because I'm so busy. Like, it literally
Yeah.
feels like morning right now to me because I literally, and us as DJs that are so busy, really don't feel fully awake until the sun goes down.
yeah,
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
very true.
So by the time the sun's down, it's like 8 p.m., 9 o'clock. It's like, all right, what are we doing?
yeah,
Got ideas, juices are flowing. You want to get in the studio, or you got a gig coming up, or there's a podcast or something, So when you're drinking like that, that doesn't help. When you're barely waking up at a late hour in the day, and you feel like shit. I'm like, man, I need to make a change. So I put it down, and it's going on 4 months now.
awesome, man. Congrats,
Yeah, man, thank you.
No,
So
it's-
I'm trying to see how far I can go, and I did it cold turkey too.
damn, you're just like, nah. I'm
Yeah,
good.
I said, let me see if I can do this, and I did it, and I'm not picking it up, and it's the hardest thing to do when you're in the nightlife, man. It is, there's drinks everywhere. You're literally playing music for a venue or an establishment that encourages everyone to drink.
Yeah, and then it's free too.
You know what I mean? So it's been the hardest thing to do, but I've managed so far, and that's why I requested the Gold Peak.
Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I know a lot of DJs out there drink a lot, so I think that's good that you're trying to push that sobriety. Not too many people do that in our industry, so
Yeah, it's really tough, man. And I'll tell you really quick, not to take up too much time, but it's a definite challenge to put it down and not pick it back up. But then there's a greater challenge when you're DJing and you're not on the same page with the people.
Yeah.
Remember, you're DJing for an establishment that encourages everybody to drink. Everybody's walking through that door to have a drink and have a good time.
Or they already had a few drinks.
Right. You know, and so they want to turn up. They want to feel good. So, you know, when you're drinking, you're on their level.
Yeah.
They're on your level. It's go time. You know what they want.
Yeah.
And you're delivering that. You know what I'm saying? You're creating these moments for these people. But when you're sober, it's like going back to the drawing board, man. You're trying to figure it out. Yeah. Because you're wanting to have a drink, but you're telling yourself, no, I'm not. I'm not going to have a drink. And then, you know, you're so in tune to everything. Your senses are heightened. You're so like, you hear everything, you see everything. And it's a different feel when people are tapping you on your shoulder. Hey, can you play this? Hey, do you have that? Or when everybody's just belligerent drunk, falling over in the booth and nearly passing out in your booth, and you're sober. Dude, all that really gets to you. And how can you really focus and deliver what the people want when you're not there on their level? So that's the other challenging part of being sober, you know, for me at least.
Yeah.
You know, because it's only been 4 months. And I've gotten to that point where I've started to understand what they want being sober and get back to where I was when I was partying with the people.
Yeah. So what are some tips that you have to when you DJ a party sober when you're used to, I guess, drinking on the drop?
Just say no.
Say no, like
just say no. Just hey, no, I'm not drinking tonight.
Which is funny because
I know it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
But I can't really give a tip because for me, I just know that I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
I don't care if you put it in my face. You ask me, no, I'm not drinking. I'm sorry. You know, whatever excuse you could come up with, you know, do it. But just don't take the drink. If you don't want it, don't take it. I can't give a tip. All I can say is, if you really don't want it, you're not gonna take it. Just don't do it.
For sure.
That's the only thing I can say because that's what I did. That was the only thing that worked for me was willpower. Saying no. I'm sorry, bro. I can't do it. Cheers to you. I'll water right here with you. Or I'll pretend we're taking a shot. Thank you so much, you know, for offering. But I'm sorry, I can't. And saying, you know, and the other thing to that is like you'll know who your real friends are.
Yeah. Because
they're either going to call you out on it and say, oh, man, you're lame. Or like, come on, you better drink this. Oh, you're whack. Or come on, bitch. Or whatever. Then you don't need those people around you because you're trying to do something good for yourself.
Yeah, you need those friends that are going to be like, if they see you getting a drink and be like, hey, bro, what happened? Like,
or like you, congratulating me on it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Those are the people that you want. Those are the people. You'll know them when you tell them, no, I'm not drinking anymore, or I'm good tonight. And if they say, hey, dude, that's cool, man. Congrats to you. Or, yo, keep it going. Yeah, I'll take a shot. The shot I was bringing you, I'll take both of them in honor of you or toasting to you and your sobriety. That's the illest thing ever. So anybody else who's going to, like, you know, knock you for it, yo, move around, dog. Because, you know what I'm saying? Now I know who you really are.
Definitely.
I'm trying to better me.
We don't need those people in 2020.
If you're going to knock me for trying to better me, then, you know, that says a lot about your character.
For sure. Well, we got a little bit off topic here, but nonetheless, good conversation. We started talking about how your neighbor was a DJ.
Yeah.
He invited you to a party. Did you end up going to that party?
Oh, yeah, actually I did. So I lied to my parents and said I was going to spend a night across the street at Rodney's house, right? And so I went over there, but I did spend a night, but I didn't say I was going to go to the party. And so I carried his crates, and all he did was say, just watch. Just watch. And, you know, after like 3 or 4 different parties, and after coming to his house a few times to watch him in his room practice, he started like showing me what, you know, certain knobs were and, you know, the faders and whatnot, the turntables, how to use them, turn them off and on, you know, how to plug everything up.
Do you remember what kind of setup he had?
Yeah, he had the Techniques and he had a realistic, Radio Shack realistic mixer. One of the old schools with the VU meters, you know. And you know, he showed me all that. And I remember after, like, one of the, I don't know how many parties I've been to, but one of the last few parties was like, hey, I need to go use the restroom. When this song is over, get this crossfader, move it over to the right, and hit this button that says start. That's all you got to do.
You're like, it's go time, man. It's my time.
Yeah, all right. So he leaves, and he says, but that's if I don't make it back in time.
You're like, I hope he doesn't.
Yes. Absolutely right. I was like,
Hope there's a
please
line at
take
the
forever.
bathroom.
Please take forever. And he didn't take forever that time.
Damn it.
Exactly. I was bummed out, but then he had to go again later on that night, and then that time he took forever, and it was my time then. And dude, I felt like I was the coolest dude.
Did you get any weird looks like at first, like when you're getting on?
No, everybody was dancing. Everybody was
yeah.
older than me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So no one paid attention to me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was doing their thing. I was hoping somebody paid attention to me.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I wish that girl would look at me right now. You know, that's what I wanted. You know, I wanted the people to see me do that because I thought, you know, I was doing my thing.
Yeah.
And so I lived for the piss breaks. Every time I went out with him, I was like, I can't wait till he uses the restroom.
Kill this 10 minutes, bro.
Yes. And so that's how it started, man. After a while, it was all about the restroom breaks. You know, hey, got to go to the restroom again. You know what to do. Yes. Yeah, got it. After a while, I was like, I got it. And then I remember we ended up moving. So that's all I learned. That was it. And I was so disappointed because I couldn't go across the street anymore and watch him practice or go to any more parties.
Yeah.
So that was a real bummer for me, man.
So that ended around what? You're like 12, 13 maybe?
Yeah, I would say 12. 12 years old. It wasn't too long. You know, by the time I hit 12, we were already out of there. Yeah.
Did you have any like early like musical influences in your family? Like,
Man.
do you remember like your mom playing music while cleaning?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's where it really all started. That's where it really all started because had I not been in a family that was musically inclined or grown up in a family that was a part of music in some way, shape, form, or fashion, I wouldn't have never been interested in what that guy was doing or why or where this music was coming from.
Right.
You know, and anytime I hear music, it's like, yo, what is that? Who's playing? Or that beat. Oh, I like that beat. Didn't matter if it was a rock group or hip hop song or disco, whatever. It was just music.
Yeah.
So yeah, I grew up in a family full of music on both sides. Really, my mom's side. You know, my uncle, my mom's brother was a drummer. My mom's sister's husband was a guitar player. Another one of my uncles was a piano player. It was just all in my family, you know. And so growing up, seeing and hearing music, it was just all around me. Everybody played an instrument.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I grew up around it, and that had a lot to do with me, you know, just enjoying the sound of music. Didn't matter what it was.
Do you remember what kind of genres they were playing when you were
Dude,
small,
so
or
okay, I'm not gonna say how old I am, but you guys probably already
fairly
know.
young?
But
You're like 24, right?
but something like that. But growing up and listening to a lot of the music that came out back then in the 80s, it was a lot of dope music.
Oh, of course.
And it was all over the place. It was pop culture, like the true era of pop culture. If you ask me when it started, was back then in the 80s. So there were so many artists and so much music that was coming out all the time. This is the era of MTV, you know, and they were playing videos.
Yeah.
So there was music all the time on TV, and that's all I wanted to watch was MTV. So growing up in a household where I had cable and it was MTV, and then, you know, you got family members who are in bands and everybody's playing instruments. Music was all around me.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm listening to everything. By the way, my uncle was in a band and they were headbangers back then. That's what they called them. They were a heavy metal. They were a heavy metal band. So I mean, my uncle's playing rock, and he's in the garage with his band. You know, just practicing all day long. I'm watching MTV, and there's like 80s playing 80s music and new wave on MTV.
Yeah.
My other uncle is playing in a band, and he's playing like country music, and he's the guitar player. You know, my other uncle is in a new wave band, and he's playing the keyboard.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing everything. You know, back then, there was so much good music, man. It didn't matter if it was rock and roll, pop music, 80s music, disco. It was everywhere, and it was great. So I was just, the one thing though was hip hop I wasn't into yet because I hadn't heard it yet. I heard everything but hip hop.
Yeah. It wasn't as mainstream yet. As
Nah,
the
it
other
really
stuff.
wasn't. It really wasn't. So, I was listening to all that to answer your question, and then later came the hip hop.
Gotcha. So after you moved, when did you fall in love with DJing again?
So we went to a family reunion out in New Braunfels, Texas, and my mom's cousin out there ended up being a DJ, and I found out, you know, that he was a DJ.
Nice.
Yeah, and so by this time I'm 12, and I remember we go to the family reunion, And just like the situation where my neighbor across the street, I go into the house to use the restroom, and there's a door open in the hallway, and there's a setup. And I'm like, yo, that's like, in my mind, I'm like, that's like what's his name had across the street. And I got super excited, and I remember telling my grandma, I didn't even know him because he's not my cousin, he's my mom's cousin, and I'm young. And I was like, Grandma. She's like, what? And I'm like, she says, you want to go in there? And I was like, yeah. So she asks my cousin Roy, that was really my mom, he's my second cousin, and tells him, hey, Marcus wants to go in there. And he was like, he looks at me, you want to, just like Richard did. It was almost the same scenario. I said, yeah. He goes in there and he shows me, and he starts cutting it up and scratching. I'm like, oh, man, this was on a whole other level. Because that's not what Richard was doing.
Yeah.
And so he goes, try it. Dude, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just, Riku, ficky. Yeah, man. And that is right there. That's when I knew this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. I had no idea what he was doing, how he was doing it, but I wanted to do that. I knew I wanted to DJ by seeing Richard. I thought that was cool, but this was beyond.
A whole nother level.
Yeah, man. And that right there, that's what started it. So shout out to my second cousin Roy out in New Braunfels, man. He really made me want to get out there and really do the damn thing.
Nice.
12 years old.
12?
12 years old.
That's crazy. I wish I found DJing that early. Let me see what's up with this laptop.
To come from where I've come from, and to have been through what I've been through, and to be where I am today, I'm just so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for it. And that's why I have a lot to talk about. You know, we can talk forever. We can talk forever. I got so much to say. And it might not be important to the average person, but to me it means a lot because I've been through so much in life. You know? And so when we sit down like this and we talk about these things and you ask questions, like these stories could go on for days and days and days, and that's and it might be rambling, but for me it's a way of releasing a whole lot that I've had inside, you know what I'm saying? Because I come from so much as a kid that was not good, and to be alive today and be here to sit in the room and talk to you about some of these things, and you ask these questions, it starts triggering all these thoughts, and it takes me back, and then I can speak on it. But it's so much, man, and I get real passionate. I'm sorry, you guys, if it's just a lot of rambling to whoever's watching,
hella interesting,
or whoever's listening. But for me, it means a lot because I didn't just grow up and say, "Hey, I want to DJ."
Yeah.
Hey, that looks cool. I want to try that, and go buy some equipment and get a laptop and some turntables and a mixer. There's a whole story on how this even came about.
Yeah.
Like my life could have taken a whole other turn, and I wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other story. But to be here right now and to be able to talk about it, that's why I speak the way I do and talk about these things. And a question might be the answer to your question might take 5 minutes, but because there's so much involved, with
totally
it.
Fine. That's exactly what we want.
I can't just say, "Oh yeah, how did I get to DJ? Oh, I just saw this YouTube clip and I thought it was cool, and I just went and bought some turntables and a laptop and downloaded some music, and boom, here I am." Yeah. No, I can't. That's not how it happened.
For sure.
And I'm not saying that happened with you or but for me, that's not how. And I'm not saying that happened with you that's watching now, but that didn't happen for me. Mm-hmm. So much happened in my life, and so many things could have taken a wrong turn at any time. But I'm very fortunate and blessed to be here today and have lasted almost 20 years DJing full time.
Still killing it.
Full time. I think the last time I've clocked in and had a regular job, not saying that what I do is not a regular job, but now I'm my own boss. I own my own company. I hadn't, I had to clock in for somebody else that was my boss and they owned their company. Yeah. It was in 2004. That was the last time I clocked in and clocked out. And once I clocked out, I never clocked back in.
You're like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, man. I was done with it. You know what I'm saying? And here I am. And again, I just feel blessed and fortunate, man. And that's why I get so passionate and deep about, some of these questions and these answers when I give them.
No, of course, man.
So, excuse me, man. Excuse me for taking so long.
And feel passionate about it. For us, that's why we want to do this podcast. Because it's kind of like, yo, what if we actually got to sit down with AM for like an hour and a half?
I'll bet you that dude would have had a whole lot to say. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? You saw his doc.
Yeah.
You know, so imagine if he had the opportunity to really speak, it would take forever.
Yeah.
And so that's a whole other thing too.
And
He
you know
went
that's
through
something
stuff.
that you would sit down and listen to. And I feel like there's a big audience of people that would listen to you too. So
Maybe.
answer how you
Yeah.
feel.
So if this is boring, stop it now. But if you're getting something from this, keep it rolling.
Definitely, for sure. So your cousin in New Braunfels, you found a set of turntables. He introduced you to cutting and scratching. You're just like,
man.
whoa, what is this? This
Yeah,
other guy
man.
was just blending. This is a whole new level. What happened next that got you more deeper into the game? Did you get into like high school or?
Oh yeah. But at that point, see, things took a turn, and I was a kid still. I didn't have any money for turntables. I knew that's what I wanted to do,
Yeah.
but I didn't get any. You know, I knew some kids later that were DJs in middle school, and they would throw parties, and I would go over there and watch. And I remember I was 12 years old, and I would lie and say, "Yeah, I'm a DJ too," and to some of the guys at school that were DJs, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, what records do you got?" That was the question because we didn't have Serato.
Yeah.
What actual records do you? And I didn't know what to say. Oh man, I got a whole bunch at the crib. You know what I'm saying? I'll bring a couple tomorrow. Man, I went home that day and I asked my mom, "Mom, can you take me to Sam Goody?" If y'all don't know about Sam Goody, that's an old school record store in the South Side, Gulfgate Mall. Yo,
When
look
it
it up,
actually
man.
was a mall.
yeah. Look it up. Do your homework. Anyway, Sam Goody asked, "Mom, take me to Sam Goody for what?" I said, "I need some records." "Records for what?" "Just give me some records, Mom." She said, "No. I told those guys I would bring some records the next day and show them what I had."
Yeah.
And I had to go to school tomorrow, the next day, with some records. So I went and I think I took some money out of my dad's wallet, took the bus, went down to Sam Goody, and I remember I bought me the DOC single, Funky Enough, 12-inch single, and what else did I get? I think I got 911 is a Joke by P. Public Enemy. And I took those and I was like, yo, I got these records, man. It's part of my collection.
They were like, what?
But that's how bad I wanted it.
Yeah.
That's how bad I wanted it because I knew from Richard showing me the little he showed me and my cousin getting down, maybe these guys could, let me in and I could learn from them because I didn't have a setup. I'm 12 years old. I don't have anything. So that was my way. At least I thought.
Yeah.
But those guys weren't having it. I'm a kid, ain't nobody letting me in. But
What did those kids say? They were like, damn, those are some dope records.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. What else you got?
You're like,
Exactly. You know what I mean? So, that's what happened then. And it was some years later to where I ended up getting some money and I got a setup on my own. I think I was probably, by that time, I was like 14 years old, and I'm just trying to bang it out in the room, getting some records. And by that time, I'm trying to figure out how are these guys cutting and making it sound so cool. I didn't know my cousin that well, so I didn't have his number. We didn't have cell phones. It was a long distance call. I couldn't call him and ask him how he was doing, what he was doing. So I was just stuck. I'm in the room trying to figure it out, And then I couldn't, and so I kind of pushed it to the side. And then I lost interest for a little bit because I'm growing up at this point. Now I'm 14, 15, 16.
yeah, your mind starts going elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm growing up, I'm meeting guys that think they're cool. Now I'm in the street. That's a whole other story. And then I lost my equipment. My house got broken into and stuff got stole out of my house. So then it was another reason why I couldn't start, continue to DJ. And so then I lost full interest at that point. I didn't have anything. By this time, I'm doing something totally different. You know what I'm saying? And I want to say after, I can't even remember the year. Maybe 98, 99, going out to the clubs, partying. I'm listening to everybody in the clubs, and I'm like, yo, these guys are, they're killing it out here. And I'm like, who's the DJ? Where is the DJ? Because I remember back then the tables.
Yeah. So
now I'm going to the clubs and I'm just listening. While everybody's partying and having a good time, I have a drink in my hand and I'm just listening to the DJ get down. I was like, yo, this is so cool, man.
Do you remember some of the names of these clubs or DJs?
Man, some of them were just bars, hole-in-wall bars. Some of them, man, 98, 99, 97. Peter's Wildlife off of Richmond. Blue Planet. God dang, these are so old. I put my age out there now. Edit that shit.
Nah, there's some people out there like, yo, I remember that spot.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they're old heads probably. This new generation ain't gonna know it, man. You guys ain't gonna know about this stuff. It's good times though. This is like real good times. Then later, you know, man, there's so many. T-Town 2000. Oh man, El Dorado. There's so many. A lot of. I mean, I don't know. There's so many.
Yeah.
And I'm just listening. You know, and I'm like, yo, man, I need to get my tables back. You know, I need to get my tables back. Eventually, I came across some money, got my tables back, and I was back to drawing board. You know what I'm saying? Got my records, started doing my thing. You know what I'm saying? And then later, Serato came out. I don't know. Serato came out in 2006, 7, something like that.
Around 05, 06.
Something like that. And I saw this one cat. I forget what. I don't know if it was Shadow Bar in downtown. I can't remember if it was that or if it was the bar before that. And I saw this dude on a laptop, and I was like, "Where's his records?"
Yeah, he's only using the same too. What's going on?
And I remember going up to him, and I'm asking him, "Yo, man, what is that you're using?" And he just gave me this stupid look and gave me this attitude, and he was like, "Serato." I was like, "Yo, why you being a dick?" You know what I'm saying? And I asked him, what is it? I didn't know. And this is a no-no to do to DJs.
Yeah.
But it was mind-blowing for me. And I knew that if I didn't ask him, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So I know that going up to a DJ while he's mixing is something you don't do.
Yeah.
But I made sure that when he was done mixing, I'd ask him.
Yeah.
But he still gave me an attitude.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, he may have been one of the first guys in the city to have it. So he ain't trying to, like, let everybody know it's the new shit. Yo, I got it first. You know, I'm killing the game. I get it. But, you know, me not knowing what it was, I needed to know. Because I needed that shit. You know what I'm saying? I still got records.
And it's a 50-50 chance he might tell you.
Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? Closed mouth don't get fed. So I asked him. He just told me it was Serato. I asked him, does that thing read the BPM for you? Because I saw it said BPM and there were all these numbers on the side. And he was like, yeah. I was like, oh, snap.
Like, oh, fuck.
That's all he told me.
To write it down.
Yeah, that's all he told me. He was like, yeah. And he gave me this look and just like shunned me away, right? And I was like, okay. I'm not going to ask no more questions. I got an idea of what that thing does.
Yeah.
So now I was like, I need to get up on this thing. So
which is weird because I feel like it is part of hip hop. Because I remember like back in the day, they would like hide their fucking their records to put like another label on it so you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And I understand why they do it, but at the same time, it's like hindering the culture. Because at the same point, if everybody has the best technology, it's only going to elevate the game as a whole better. So that's crazy. Anyway, so he was just like, Serato gave you an attitude, brush you off.
You know, and he didn't have to tell me that it read the BPMs, but he did.
Yeah.
And when he told me that, I was like, boom. I need to get my hands on that so I can figure out how to use it. Because if it reads the BPMs, that eliminates so much work.
Yeah.
With having records. There was so much more to learn and understand about Serato. I didn't know, but I just knew that however it got the record into that software or laptop and it read your BPMs, however it did that is all I needed to figure out. Because now by reading the BPMs, you knew that you could grab any record you want, that same BPM or damn near the same, and mix them.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you could probably do this a whole lot faster than digging.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Putting the record on, you know,
Counting
that
it.
whole process. Or even getting a brand new record and counting the BPM and trying to figure out what it is and then labeling it and then figure out where you're going to put it in your crate.
Yeah.
I was like, it started to make some sense. I had an idea, I guess. I assumed that's how it was. I was kind of right, but then there's a whole other process of ripping the record.
Yeah.
Making it into an MP3, converting it over into an MP3. That was a whole, I was like, God damn, this is a headache. So once I got my hand, I was like, shit. You know, it was crazy, but yeah, it was around that time, man. But when I did get my hands on it, man, I best believe I was in the room. I was working, man.
Do you remember the name of the first? I wasn't gonna say first club, but do you remember your first gig?
Yeah, so I remember I got hit up by somebody. I want to say it was like 2000. No, maybe 2001, somewhere around there. It was a guy that needed a DJ, and my buddy knew that I knew a lot of music, and he knew that I used to DJ. He was like, "Hey man, my buddy needs a DJ at his club, and one of his DJs are out." And he asked me if I knew somebody. You want to do it? And I was like, "Nah." I wasn't ready, you know. So I was like, "Nah, I'm good." He's like, "No, dude, you're good." He knew, I would DJ. He would come, he would see me at the house, and he's like, "Dude, I think you could do it." So anyway, long story short, I went and I did it, and it was just one night because the guy wasn't there and they needed somebody for that night.
Yeah.
I do the gig, and because I just had knowledge of a lot of music, he was like, "Yo, man, you're really good. Would you consider coming back?" And I was like, I remember I had a job. I was like, "Nah, I'm just here filling in." Like my buddy's like, he's like, "Man, the other guy is always calling in. He's not ever showing up." He's like, "How much money did you make?" And I was like, "I made this amount." And he's like, "Did you have some drinks?" "Oh yeah." He's like, "How do you feel?" I said, "I feel good." "Why?" "I saw there was a lot of girls in the DJ booth." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You wouldn't consider having that every night?" I was like, to me, I was like, the way it was approached to me and the way I felt at that very moment, I wasn't able to build what I wanted to build for me to become the DJ I wanted to become. Yeah. It was kind of, I was thrown in this one club that I wasn't even interested in, this one club I wasn't even looking at, this one club I probably didn't even want to be a part of, and that wasn't even my style of DJing. So for me, I was like, nah.
What kind of music was it?
It was all kinds of music. It was everything. It was everything, and if it wasn't even on turntables. It was on CDs, CDJs.
Oh, okay.
And so that was the other thing. It's like these are CD players, and I'm having to bring my CD book and play these CDs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how I was DJing, and that's not what I wanted. But he thought I was the greatest, and I'm like, this is whack.
You should see me on turntables, man.
And I was like, and I was still even that great on turntables. I was still trying to perfect my craft. You know what I'm saying? And my brand and everything else back then. And that just wasn't my steez. That's not what I wanted to do. But to him, it was like, yo, come on. And I didn't think it was real. I was like, nah, this is not me. This is not what I want to do. Then they called me again to fill in. They said, just fill in one more time. I said, okay. Well, this time it was the time I filled in, I think, was on a Wednesday night. The second time I filled in was on a Saturday. It was even more packed, made more money. There was even more girls, and I got stupid drunk that night. And they talked me into it. They're like, "How much money did you make?" I told them. It was like, "That's more than Wednesday, right?" I was like, "Yeah." "Why don't you go home and think about it, and I'll pay you this much on top of what you're making." I said, all right. And so I went home and I just thought about it, and I came back a few more times, and that's kind of like what really started it all. And I started getting in just by doing this one little hole in the wall, and it just elevated from there, and just kept going, and it never stopped.
And how old were you around this time?
Man, do I really gotta tell you? Because everybody's gonna
bleep
know.
It out. Bleep it out.
No, damn, 2001. I don't know, 22, something like that, 21, 22, maybe.
Gotcha.
Damn, I'm so old.
You're not that old, man.
Anyway, a lot's been accomplished, just know that.
Definitely a lot.
And so, yeah, and that kind of started it right there. So everything before then was me trying to figure it all out. There was no school. There was no homie trying to help me out.
YouTube.
The guy who even talked to me about Serato was an asshole. There's no YouTube, nothing, and that was just my way in. And here we are. There's a lot that's happened from that point on to now, but yeah, that was, to answer your question, it was around that time, 2000, 2001. It was just an accident, you know what I'm saying? A fill-in gig, and then once I got my pinky toe into that industry like that, like I did,
Yeah.
everything kind of just started to fall into place.
Yeah.
Because I knew I didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
That wasn't where I wanted to be, and that wasn't the style of DJing I wanted.
And after that, did other clubs start reaching out to you? Or?
Yeah. I started meeting a lot of people, and that's the other thing about the industry, man. You know, it's gonna work for you if you just do it right and you meet people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You meet people, you talk to people. Yes, if you're good as a DJ, you got skills. You know, it's different today because back then it wasn't so much about branding and there wasn't social media. Merch, any of the stuff that we do today. You know, it wasn't even about that back then. You know, it really was about your skill.
Yeah.
And all those guys thought I was dope. I was freaking playing CDs, bro. That wasn't dope. Not for me.
Yeah.
That's not what I wanted to do. But, you know, that's just how it was. And just met a lot of people along the way as I was perfecting my craft at home until he came across the right person. And then they saw what I was able to do on some turntables.
Yeah.
And then it went there. But that's what started it all. That was the entryway into the industry.
Yeah.
You know, because even if you're playing a hole in the wall place, you're in the industry. You're a part of the nightlife.
Yeah.
You know, it might not be the biggest club, the greatest club, but it is a part of the nightlife. It's in that circuit, in that realm. You're in the, it's all up to you on how much further you want to go beyond that.
Yeah.
You know, do you want to stay in the hole in the wall? Do you want to excel? You want to meet more people? You know, do you want to up the ante? You want to level up? Well, you got to get further out there. You know what I'm saying? You got to perfect your craft. You got to get better. You got to start talking to more people. You know, rub the shoulders with these people. Rub the elbows with these people. Get out there. Tell them who you are. You know, let them hear you. You never know who's going to be in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? That might hear you and think you're dope and come up to you and say, hey, y'all got this spot. And that's kind of how it happened with me. I met somebody. I was like, yo, man, I got this spot over here. Why don't you come over here and check this place out? And a lot of times that's how it happens. You know, so if you're just starting at even the smallest venue, or even as a wedding DJ, you know, or you're doing house parties, it all starts from somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, even if you're in the bedroom, that's how it starts.
Yeah.
Eventually you get out of the bedroom. Some people like just staying in the bedroom, but if you really want to move forward and level up, you got to get out there.
Yeah.
Get out the bedroom for a little bit. Show people what you do, man. There's so many dope DJs in the bedroom, man, killing it. And not only that, there's so many dope DJs in the bedroom right now gunning for your spot.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how it starts, man. You get your foot in the door somehow, some way, and you just keep moving. Just keep moving.
Definitely, for sure. So you started DJing clubs. You started meeting more people. What was the next steps that happened after that? Did you ever compete in any battles?
Nah, man. No battles, but I didn't mean to cut you off with your question.
No, you're good.
You got more to the question? Go ahead.
No, that was it.
Oh, I thought you were going to
Yeah.
ask something else after
No, I
the
was just
battle.
asking if you did any battles or...
Battles? No, I've never done any battles. I contemplated it a lot of times, you know, but I never really done any battles because I felt like I wasn't good enough. You know, there's some guys out there, man, that are sick with it on the tables. They're so dope with their cuts. They're so dope with their scratches. They're so dope with their beat juggles. Like, you know, even you, like, I've seen how far you've come with your beat juggles, and those are dope, by the way.
Appreciate it, man.
There's a lot of DJs that are so sick with it, you know, and I know what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
I know my lane. I know what I'm good at. You know, I know where, you know, my strengths are and where my weaknesses are. And do I feel like I got what it takes to be a battle DJ? I've heard from so many people, dude, you have what it takes. I've heard so many people tell me you need to be on the Rebel 3 style. And I'm just like, nah, man.
Dude, I would love to see you in Red Bull.
I'll never make it. And that's just me thinking that.
Yeah.
Do I have a complex? I don't know, maybe. But I've contemplated it, but then I'm like, no, I'm not going to win.
Man, you just
I'm not going to waste my time. You know, my homie Baby J said it one time.
Shout out to Baby J.
Yeah, shout out to the Crackin' Nuts. It's so frustrating to be, you know, practicing a set day in, day out for 6 months that only lasts 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm so busy already. I don't even have time to up the ante on my equipment. You know, how am I gonna focus on a set for you know, and that's just I'm everywhere. I'm so busy these days, flying in to different cities and states, DJing in all these, you know, venues or whatnot. I feel like I can't find the time. I've wanted to do it, but you know, to be honest with you, I just feel like I'm not that good. Yeah, that's just my honest answer. You know, people say otherwise. Thank you to everybody and big ups to y'all for thinking that. Will I ever do it? Maybe.
We'll see.
Maybe.
2021.
I'm not gonna tell you what I almost did last year, but maybe. But no,
sure.
that's. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be real. You know, and that's just how I feel about it.
Definitely,
you know?
for sure. And then we also knew that you're part of a group called Zach Slater. How
Yeah.
did you link up with Demo from the Waxaholics?
Oh, Demo, man, he's the homie. Yo, shout out to Demo.
Big shout out to Demo.
We met at a bar on Washington Avenue some years ago, man. I would say maybe 2011 or something like that. I ended up dropping a mixtape, and it's a funny story. I dropped a mixtape, and he comes up to me with another homie of ours named DJ Kid Cali. Big up to Kid Cali. Kid Cali comes up and says, "Yo, man, heard your mixtape. It was fire. Yo, it's dope, man." And I'm like, "Thanks, man." He goes, "Man, my homie Demo likes it too." And Demo's like, "Hey, man, like your mixtape." Demo swears to God. He swears to God that I brushed him off, and I was just like, "Yeah, man, whatever." And he tells me that I did that, and then he was like, "Man, fuck this guy." He says that he thought I was the biggest jerk. He's like, "Oh, man, fuck this guy." I try to give him props on his mixtape. Man, fuck this guy. So, and I didn't know he felt that way at the time. I didn't know that he was thinking that in his mind.
We got to get him on here, man.
Right.
I want to see if this really happened or
Yeah,
not.
I didn't know he was thinking that,
I
right?
want to hear his side of the story.
So, you know, long story short, I meet him real quick, right? And then I never see him again.
Yeah.
Right? And then I saw him like some months, maybe even a year later at another venue. With Kid Cali again, and I got reintroduced to him again. This time he kind of brushes me off, like, whatever. And I'm thinking like, yo, why is this guy being a dick?
like, yo, fuck this guy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck this dude, right? And so it happened, right? In reverse, I guess. But I didn't know he felt that way. And I swear I wasn't being like that. But, I mean, he thought I was. Maybe I did. I don't know. But I wasn't trying to be. Because even to this day, I don't try to be like that with anybody I meet. Mm-hmm. You know, if they think that, I mean, I'm sorry, but that's just not the way I am. I don't even carry myself to be better than anybody. You know, there's so many guys that are way better than me. Guys out there that are super dope. And there's a lot of guys that I'm better than. But I don't carry myself like I'm better than anyone. Ever. You know, I'm just a guy who does what I do, and that's it. Just like you, just like the guy right now behind the camera, and just like all the other DJs out there that are watching and listening that do what they do. You know, but people just get misperception. I don't know, and that's what he felt, man. And to this day, I said, dude, it wasn't even like that. So when he was like that with me, I was trying to approach him again. And this time I had a shot, but we were amongst mutual friends. And we were all hanging out, so I got a couple shots for me, him, and a couple other homies that were there. And actually, one of my homies, Doe, rest in peace, Doughboy, one of our mutual friends that just passed away recently. God bless his soul. We were there hanging out, and he just takes the drink. He's like, "Oh, man, thanks, man." And we take the shot, and then he just kind of puts it down, and he continues the conversation with our homie Doe, and I'm just like, this dick. Fucking dick. Anyway, and then the tables were out. And then Kid Cali was like, "Yo, man, you want to get on?" Right? And I was like, "Yeah." And they were doing a 2x4 set that night, Demo and Cali. And so I got on one setup, and I think Demo was playing on the other setup. And I started cutting, scratching, just doing some things. And I think that's really how it happened. And I remember I was fucked up that night. And I probably sounded sloppy as shit, you know? I was just whatever. And Demo was on the other side doing his thing, and then that's just kind of how it evolved. You know, we kept in touch after that, and you know, I got invited to a couple of their parties, and I guested with them, and it just kind of fell in place. And then next thing I knew, he was over at my studio, and we were in the studio just chopping it up. And dude, it's almost like 10 years now that we've been working together. We still work together.
That's awesome.
You know, even though he's a part of the Waxaholics, shout out to the Waxaholics.
Shout out.
You know, we've been grinding, man, since. I mean, uh, Zach Slater is still an entity, but we're so busy that we haven't been able to get together and do a 2x4 set. And we used to throw parties and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And, individually, we're busy. And then when he started working with Reeks, he's gotten real busy. Me, I'm always just, been a one-man gang, just doing my own
Hustling DJ,
thing.
man.
Huh?
So you're a hustling DJ,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, don't stop. And so it's kind of hard to get together. There's a lot of talks and projects that we want to do, and we talk about all the time. We just got to find the time to do it. You
Definitely,
know what I'm
for
saying?
sure. Yeah, I remember going to South by Southwest when I first met you
Yeah,
guys.
that's right, man.
That shit was bananas.
Yeah, it was a good time.
And then Spider was there. Who else was there? There's
Shout
so
out to
many
Spider.
dope DJs over there, man.
Yeah,
It was
Mick,
nuts.
DJ Mick one was there. It was a whole lot of DJs, man. And yeah, that's right. You were there. It was a good time.
I videotaped everything.
That's right. I
was
think I just
dope.
posted that not too long ago. Just
Yeah,
as
I
a
saw that. You
throwback
can hear me,
Thursday,
like,
just to do it. Yeah,
yelling Pimp
That's
C's
right.
verse.
That's right. That was. You did do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
man.
Yeah, that's how we throw the parties, man. When we get down, that's how we do it. There's not a lot of guys who can do a 2x4 set, man, and really get down and have this this vibe where they can make it work behind 4 turntables. A lot of people try it, it doesn't work. A lot of people do try it, and it does work. For us, it just happened.
Yeah.
And we would just go in the studio and just play tracks and just vibe out. And I would just drop something, and he would be like, "Man, fuck you." And he still does it to this day. He's like,
And then he'll
"Fuck
try to
you."
do something.
Yeah, and then
he's
I'll be like, "Fuck you."
It's like a back and forth.
Yeah,
thing,
man.
like-
But it just works, man.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
and we were like this ultimate DJ in
Yeah.
one. On 4 turntables. You know what I'm saying? And we would just do our thing.
For sure. And I think one thing that I noticed, like, from someone that's not in the group or kind of like from afar is like you both had an admirement for DJ AM. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Because when I first got into Break Free, I didn't know that you're a huge AM fan, but I was a huge AM fan. And then like it took me months to figure out that you're a huge AM fan. And we were just both nerding out talking about it. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, for me to meet a DJ who's like obsessed with like AM as much as I am or knows so much about him, like, this is awesome. I feel like the stars really aligned in that.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. So that was how we met, because the mixtape I dropped was a tribute mixtape
Was
to
it
AM.
the Goldstein or something?
Yeah, the
Okay.
Goldstein. So I dropped that in honor of AM, and there's a story, behind that as well. Like I said, we can be here forever. I got many stories. I was supposed to meet him for my birthday, the year that he passed, when he got his residency at Rain over in Vegas.
Yeah.
So at the time, I had set up, my birthday party at Rain with VIP.
Damn.
For on the stage, booth on the stage, with a bottle for me and my people to go out there, and that was what I wanted. I wanted to go out there, have my party at Rain on the stage next to AM for my birthday.
Yeah. That sounds nuts.
Yeah, and I mean, I was going all out, and that's what I was gonna do, and so I made it happen. We were going, and that Friday that I was supposed to be there, it was the weekend before my birthday. My birthday, September 2nd. And he died August 29th, I think. Something like that. So the week before.
28th, I think.
Something like that, right? 28th, 29th. My birthday was just in a few days. So that Friday was the weekend before my birthday.
That's crazy.
I was going there to celebrate my birthday and meet AM. And wake up, in the morning, and find out that, he passed. It was all over the TV. I was like, what? This is BS, No. That's, and yeah, I looked up to him in many ways, and that's a whole other story on why. So I was so bummed out that this happened, not only because he passed, but I was going there for that. That was my celebration. Now who's going to be there?
Yeah.
He's gone, which sucks. Everybody's bummed. Everybody's sad. But who's gonna be there now? The party's not gonna be the same.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
I'm
weird
bummed
vibe.
out. I'm sure the club is gonna be a different vibe. They're not gonna be happy. This was like the whole new AM Fridays at Rain, and everybody's going to see him. It was a big thing, man. It was a huge thing.
Yeah.
So it just changed everything.
That's crazy.
But I go there anyway, and I have my party. And who ended up DJing for AM that night was DJ Scene. So that's how I ended up being friends with DJ Scene.
Interesting.
So I didn't meet AM because he passed, but I ended up meeting Scene, and then we ended up being friends. So when I think about it, like I probably would have been friends with AM, just like Scene and Spider and everybody else, you know, and just the way the universe works, man. God bless his soul as well. Rest in peace, AM. But that's how that happened, and because of that, I ended up deciding to do a tribute mixtape. And
Which was dope, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. I put that out.
Still have the CD.
Yeah, I made massive copies, physical copies, put them out there, and that's how Demo and I met. He ended up wanting to say, hey, yo, this shit was dope.
Yeah, and then what's crazy is, like, you guys end up DJing the premiere of his movie in Austin, right?
Right. So because of that, he ended up liking the CD. He knew who AM was. We started conversing down the line about AM and his style and, and how, he thought he was dope as well. And I told him, why I liked his style, and he was like, yo, man, your CD, you need to put that out because no one's doing that in Houston. No one has that style. No one's really doing that. I just was trying to put out a mixtape in homage to AM. I wasn't really trying to sound like him. Yeah. I was on the mixtape in homage of him.
Yeah.
That's all I was trying to do. But my style wasn't supposed to be like him. I wasn't gonna, that was more that I was reaching for. But Demo was like, you need to put that out. No one in Houston DJs like that out here.
Yeah.
Just put it out. So, and he's like, you need to get further out. He's like, let's throw a party. Put that mix out there to the masses. Push it further than what you did. And let's throw an AM party in honor of him and give back to the community. Let's raise money somehow and pick a charity of our choice and give back to the community like AM was doing.
Yeah.
You did a tribute. Let's take it further. Let's do something nobody else is doing. And I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, let's do it. It was really Demo's idea, not mine. I just wanted to put the CD out in homage to him because I was upset that I didn't get to meet the guy. You know what I'm saying? Demo's like, dog, you need to put this out there. So I was like, nah. And then, I don't know, a week or two later, I was like, you for real? He's like, I'm being serious. You need to do it. I was like, all right, let's do it. So we just got in the studio and we started just collaborating and talking about how we were going to do it, how we were going to push it. It was, getting the dots, connecting them, reaching out to, charities and how we were going to raise money, who we were going to give the money to and things like that. And that's what we did. And we did it for, I want to say we did the AM tribute parties for maybe 3 years. And it was good. We raised a lot of money. We gave them to the charities, gave the money to the charities. It was a good time. I really think with Demo's idea, he was like, it gives, it brings a different style of DJing to the city that we don't have. And I think that he was right. I think it did that because at the time, no one was really doing it. Cracker Nuts were always dope. They were doing their thing. Booth Pimps are dope. They're doing their thing. Everybody has their own style of DJing, and not to knock anybody for their style. Everybody's super dope in the city. There's a lot of dope DJs. But Demo was kind of right. There was really no one doing that. Now there is. A lot of guys are really sick, man. They're getting, and I think that it really pushed that. I think it pushed the envelope a little bit. Yeah. With the creativity behind the tables. And I'm not saying that it did a lot because there's a lot of DJs that been so dope, dope and been doing stuff, but I think it kind of really pushed that open format vibe or style of DJing
just a little bit more
in the South. Demo made a tweet during one of the AM parties and said, "This is why a DJ's AM legacy lives on here in Houston." DJ Scene saw that and he retweeted it and liked it. And I thought that was I thought that was pretty dope.
That's awesome.
Because it's coming from a guy, that was AM's friend that's from a whole different coast. And it kind of for me made it, I don't want to say official, but it was a blessing. Like he gave us that blessing, like, I agree with that. That's cool. Yeah. Kind of like, y'all keep doing what y'all are doing down there.
Will you guys ever throw another AM event in the future?
I don't know, man. With us being so busy now, and AM being gone so long, rest his soul. I don't know if we'll ever do it. Demo's super busy. I'm super busy. It would be cool, but there's a lot of cats. I don't know if there's anybody who really knows who he is. A lot do, but there's some that don't.
Yeah.
But again, that was really another way of educating the new DJs
Yeah.
on that style of DJing. You know what I'm saying? And who he was. Will we do it? Maybe. And maybe again it will help educate some of these newer guys that are coming up on who he is and what that style's like. Because nowadays there's a lot of DJs that are coming up that are dope, but they're on controllers.
Yeah.
Not saying that that anything's wrong with that, but it's still, that's another style of DJing.
Yeah, which is crazy because like there's some people my age like they DJ on controllers, and I'll be like, oh yeah, like this sounds like AM, and they'll be like, who's AM? And I'm like, all right, look, before you do anything else,
now you schooling.
before you do anything else, go watch this movie, go watch the documentary.
Yeah.
And then they'll hit me up after the documentary like, what the fuck? This dude was dope.
Yeah.
Like I listened to some of his mixes on YouTube, like, and they're just like mind blown that they didn't know that. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. Like,
and you know what? And that's just how it was for me when I first found out who he was. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This is like, he was so ahead of his time. This is beyond. Like when I told you about my cousin, that was a whole other level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was beyond it. And I was just mind blown, just like the way you were when you first saw him, and just like these kids now, they're seeing it now and texting you back about it. That's exactly how I felt, and I was like, yo, man, if he can do that on those fucking turntables, like, so can I.
Yeah. What's mind boggling is what he would have been able to do on a fucking S9.
Yeah. When you think about it, like if he was doing that back then, what would he be doing now?
Yeah, and that's something I ask myself whenever I'm making mixes or trying to DJ, like, what would AM do? What would he do that would push that open format envelope even further? But yeah, man. So I noticed that you've been doing a lot more events on Austin. It's almost like your second home. I see you're between Houston and Austin. Like,
yeah, and that's been going on for some years. Yeah, for some years.
What spots are you DJing out there?
Austin. Now just Kung Fu in the Domain. That's like North Austin, and Handlebar over off of East 5th Street, just one street over from Dirty 6th in downtown. And those are the only two spots, man. It's been like 5 years now. Nice. Back and forth.
That's awesome. And it's crazy that the bar or establishment is lasting that long, and especially in nightlife. So that really says something about the establishment and the music that you're curating over there. So
it's been like 5 years at Handlebar Austin and 2 years at Kung Fu.
Yeah, and then you also do Handlebar in Houston too, right?
Yeah. Nice. Handlebar Houston. It's been 2 years in Handlebar Houston off of Washington Avenue. Nice. It's a pretty dope spot, man. Those same guys are about to open a couple new places in the city and open up some other cities.
Unicorn something, right?
Unicorn Disco, I believe.
Yeah.
And they're about to open some other venues in a few other cities and states as well.
Nice.
So these guys are really, really expanding. They're a dope company, a dope... a really cool group of people to work for, man. They really take care of their staff and DJs, man, which is really, really dope. It's hard to work for somebody who's really looking out for your DJs, as well as your staff, and really care about what they do in their craft.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
That's awesome.
So it's really dope, man. It's been about 5 years back and forth from Houston to Austin, just between, these two cities. Everywhere else, I kind of just fly out and do some other stuff. But yeah, Austin. That's second
awesome.
home.
So what is control management? I noticed that you have that in your bio. And
control management. It's pretty much an agency, a DJ agency, man. That has a few DJs under their agency, the label, and they just manage the DJs, with gigs. They just like any agency, whatever gig comes their way, they just either call me, demo, or a couple of the other guys we have on there is DJ Chaos from Houston.
Shout out to Chaos.
Yeah, Chaos. DJ Fresco from Brownsville, which now resides in Austin. And I think there's a couple other guys that they have, but not officially on the roster, but they do work with. And they just have gigs. They come across the gigs and they say, yo, I need you for this. Are you available? If not, let's make this happen. If they don't get me, they'll get Demo, Chaos, Fresco, or some of the other guys. It's just another agency. Just a lower tier because you got these bigger guys like Scam Artists and
Rich Group.
Yeah, all these other, and so it's a dope agency. I like it because the thing about Control is it's a couple guys who figured out their way on how to make something work for them.
Yeah.
And put something together to look out for the DJs who are out there grinding, hustling, you know what I'm saying? Because you know how difficult it is, man, to get scam artists' attention.
Oh, a lot. I mean, their rosters.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn book.
You see what I'm saying? And then you or I or somebody, you know, is trying to get on, you know, you're in the waiting list. You know what I'm saying? And then they take a huge, you know, percentage. It's a whole lot to get into when you're talking about these major agencies. Whereas some of these guys are like, you know what, I'm not waiting for an agency. I'm gonna go out there and get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this happen on my own. Screw the agency.
Boots to the ground type shit.
Yeah, I'm not giving a cut of any of my money. I'm gonna do this. And a couple of guys ended up figuring it out, and they've been in the industry long enough, and they said, you know what, we can get these gigs on our own. I don't need scam artists, or I don't need Rich Group to get into Vegas, or to get with, you know, this brand over here, or to get into that club over there. These guys have been doing it on their own, and they ended up, you know, pretty much creating their own agency just through networking.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's all based on relationships.
Just through networking. And they're like, yo, we're doing this. Come on, man. You want to be a part of it? Really? You're not asking for anything? Nah, man, let's do this.
That's awesome.
Come on. And so,
that's
you know,
fam right there. That's awesome.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I think that's how a lot of the agencies really start, if you ask me. You know, and, you know, you get a group of your core guys, and you just build off of that. Who knows where that thing is going to go from here? I'm not saying that, you know, it's not a knock to any other agencies, but yo, man, that's what Control is, and you know, they're dope, and I like working with those guys.
Definitely, for sure. I always get a lot of questions from some of these up and coming DJs or younger DJs, but do you feel it's vital to have an agency, to be under an agency umbrella to get gigs, or like what advice would you have for up and coming DJs who are still in that bedroom phase, trying to get into the club market or nightlife?
Man, you know, I think that if you just stay true to yourself, man, and grind it out, perfect your craft, you know, your skills, your brand, you know what I'm saying? And just get out there and network and talk to people, you're gonna fall into the right place. You're gonna fall into these pockets, you're gonna get these gigs, and you won't need an agency. And if you fall into the right, you know, pocket, or to the right gig, or come across the right person, you know, maybe one of those bigger agencies will pick you up. So I would say don't focus on trying to get an agency, because you're going to miss a whole lot if you just focus on this one thing. Because now you're not focused on your craft. You're not really meeting anybody. You're not getting out there. You're not getting any gigs because you're so busy trying to be super dope behind the turntables and get content to send to this one agency or to this line of agencies.
Yeah, and then you're relying on one source.
And then everything else is passing you by. Definitely. So I would say don't worry about that right now. Just be dope. Be you. Do your thing. You know, perfect your craft. Be sharp with it. And everything will just fall into place, man. It will. I mean, look how far, you know, I've come, you know, and full time, second house, 4 cars.
Killing the game, man.
Doing my thing.
Yo, what kind of car you drive, though? Where you trying to flex?
But, you know, and so, and I'm not trying to say I'm the best, but like, ultimately, everybody's success is different.
For sure.
And for me, that's my success, being able to take care of my family. So if you want an agency, you don't have a family, you don't have kids, and you're young, just be dope at what you do. Stay true to it. Perfect your craft. Get out there, talk to people, network, push your brand, and that shit will come. It'll fall into place, man. I know plenty of DJs that were young just a few years ago that are a lot younger than me. They just started, and they stayed true to it, and they did everything I just mentioned. And these guys are doing, you know, second, you know, tier clubs, venues, third tier clubs, venues. They're flying everywhere, and they kept pushing. Granted, you know, they don't have any kids, they're not married, which is a plus for them, you know, but they're doing the goddamn thing. That's all you have to do. And some of these guys I'm mentioning, they don't even have an agency.
Yeah.
They all just pure off the grind, purely just off the grind, strength of the grind. That's it, killing it. So my advice is just don't focus on that one thing, because if you do, you're gonna miss out on a whole lot.
Wise words from the man himself, DJ ME. So what's in store for 2020 for DJ Main Event? Do you have any plans in the future that you plan on?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I don't want to give away too much. I mean, there's a lot in store. Definitely more traveling. I'm traveling now, but there's gonna be a lot more coming up. A lot more going on with branding. Definitely this year gonna get some new equipment.
Boy, still using Scratch Live.
Yo, man, what they say, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. You know what I mean? And it works. I've never. Hey, yo, speaking of that, I've not had one problem, not one problem. And let me knock on some wood or something around here.
It's literally
Right. Not one problem with my Serato ever crashing on me.
Yeah.
Freezing on me on a gig, laptop just shutting down, nothing. And that's the thing, when you update your OS system or you get to the new software, there's lots of bugs and problems, and you read the forums all the time, you hear about it all the time. Thank God I haven't had that problem. So I've been so scared to upgrade and update everything. Man.
You have forgotten your records and slip mats, though.
Huh?
I said you have forgotten your records and slip mats, though.
Yeah, I have. Yes. Shout out to you for helping me out that one time, man.
Yeah, funny story. Maine hits me up. He's like, "Yo, man, I left my records at home." So I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'll head over there. Like, I'm off tonight. I think it was like a Thursday or something." I bring him records, and he's like, "Yo, you ain't got no slip mats?" And I'm like, "You only asked for records." Like,
dude, I'm so sorry, but thank you, dude. You saved me that night, dude.
Yeah.
You really came through, man. You came through that night, and I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I was gonna figure it out.
Yeah, and then I dropped the records off, and he's like, "Man, this is all I need. Like, thank you so much. You just saved my set." He's over there like trying to cut like wax or some toilet. I don't.
No, I was cutting the actual the sleeve.
Yeah.
From the vinyl, and I was cutting it up to put it on there, and that's what I was gonna use. I wasn't gonna bug you or anybody for any.
Yeah.
I hate asking people for stuff, but
yeah.
I mean that's what I was doing, and you came through again.
Yeah. So I went home and I was like, "Man, I'm bringing this full some slip
I was like, "Damn, dude, you don't have to do this, but you did it. So thank you so much for
no
that,
worries, man. I know how it is because I've left my
night.
shit at home, and I'm just like, man,
this guy saved my night." It was
sure.
so dope. Yeah.
But yeah, man, appreciate you coming on the podcast. I feel like it was really insightful for all of our listeners. One question we like to ask at the end of the podcast, if you were to give your last speech in 30 seconds to the whole world, what would that be like?
I have no idea.
Just spitting game or just stuff in general you want to tell the world?
Man, just do what you love. Don't quit. Don't stop. Stay true to it. Be yourself. Don't try to be anybody that you're not. This industry, it's a roller coaster ride. So once you're involved, once you get in, you'll know right away if this is for you or if it isn't. And if it isn't, just go ahead and go back to what it was you're doing. It's all good. But if it is something you want to do, and once you're in, you're gonna have your highs and you're gonna have your lows. Okay, and if you want to last long in this business, just have a good attitude. Be good to people, and they're gonna be good with you. Those people, when they go up with you, and when you go down, those people are going down with you. Because this is an industry, and we're all in the same circuit. This nightlife, we all grow together. We fall together. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a bartender, a club owner, if you're a DJ, a bar back. You're gonna see these faces day in and day out as you're working. So if you're good at the highs with these people, they're going to be good with you when it's time to go down at your low. If you're a dick with these people when you come up, and when it's time to come down and you have your lows, they're going to be a dick with you then too. Just remember that, man. Just stay true to yourself and everything will be all right.
Gems from the legendary DJ Main Event. Where can the people find you out on social media, Main Event?
Social media, IG, DJ_Main Event, Twitter, DJ_Main Event, Facebook, DJ Main Event. You can find me on my personal page, Marcus Trejo, and Mixcloud, DJ Main Event on Mixcloud. Spotify, DJ Main Event on Spotify.
We're going to link everything in the description below. Check that out.
Yeah,
so give our man a follow. Add him on Facebook by his government name, all that.
Yeah, it's all good.
Man, thanks for coming through once again. A good conversation, man. As always, you're like fam, so if you need anything from us, we appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, man. And thank you, and shout out to the cameraman.
Shout out to Nathan San Miguel in the building.
For holding down that camera the whole time.
For sure. All right, guys. Peace.
Man, my hand was so hot the whole time.